it was CPS telling me I was being investigated for sexual abuse and mental abuse to my children. I was in shock for the first time in my life.
Michael, you ready for us to take another call?
Yes, sir, Mr. Davis. Thank you.
All right, let's go to Eric in Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia. Eric, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
I've got a little story, and I was going to see if I could get some advice. On May the 11th, my wife fabricated an assault charge and had me arrested in a restraining order against my kids, who was not even there. I kissed them goodbye and put them on the bus, told them to be careful. I'll see them this evening. At 7:30 that morning, at 7:45, I got lunged on by my wife and broke my back, and ended up I got arrested because she had a red place on her face. And I've not seen my children since May the 11th, and my initial court hearing for the assault has been put off 6 times. About a week later, after the assault charge, I got a visitor. It was CPS telling me I was being investigated for sexual abuse and mental abuse to my children. I was in shock for the first time in my life. And when he left my home, when he left my house, we spoke to me about an hour. The last thing he said to me was, "Well, there is no cause for alarm for sexual abuse, but your kids may need some counseling." I just assumed he meant by them finding out such a thing could even happen. And he said there will be drop-ins, scheduled and non-scheduled, and during the course of the investigation, which could take 45 days. Okay, I didn't speak to him again till the day I went in for the findings of the interview, in which I was founded a level 3 child abuser, sexual and mental abuser, and I was the reason my kids needed counseling. Okay, it's a small town. My wife's mentor is involved heavily in the politics, all the way up to the elected levels of the Commonwealth Attorney, and her sister and best friend and sister's best friend works at the local DSS department. And on an appeal, I was deemed unfounded, in which the director of CPS told me he wished it had come across his desk first. There would be no reason for appeal. The charges that they're stating against me is that I laid down on the bed with my girls and our feet touched. And I didn't deny. I told them, I said, yes, I lay across the bed. I said, we've had some good talks flop down across the bed about sex, drugs, alcohol, suicide, all the important things that teens need to be talked about. I said, flopped across the bed at my house ain't no bad place to be. Anyway, now that I'm going for my assault hearing, the protective order against my children still continues on after I've been deemed unfounded. And it's been postponed from May the 11th till January the 7th. And before May the 11th, I never missed a ball game, a bedtime prayer, a snotty nose, a loose tooth, anything my kids had going on. I was right there in the middle of it. Now their dad's gone for 7 months, and I have no idea what they're even being told why. And it's all the way up to the Commonwealth Attorney, elected official, at our last court hearing, the representative of the Commonwealth wasn't there. It was the elected guy, and he's not even going to charge my case. And I was the victim. My wife was the aggressor, and I had a broke back. And due to small town politics and interference from the inside, he's not going to prosecute my case, just prosecute my wife's case because she had a red mark on her face, in which I did nothing that could even be mistaken for a slap or a choke or anything. What can you tell me to do there, sir?
Eric, since it's a state case and it seems to be some type of state corruption, your only alternative is try to complain or file a case or a complaint with the United States federal government. And luckily, that's why we have a two-part government, a federal and a state government. If the state is injuring its citizens, you have the right to go to the federal agencies to try to seek help. If I were you, I'd call up the U.S. Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division, and I'd also call the Department of Health and Human Services and file a case against CPS for what they've done to you. And I hope that in the state of Virginia, you have found or have been assigned a good attorney to handle that criminal matter. Have you?
I have hired an attorney, sir. They recommended him from Virginia Beach, the closest one in my area. I live in the Appalachian Mountains rural area, and there are really no CPS expert lawyers around here. But I got what the Virginia Beach crew recommended.
Okay. Well, I hope you're in good hands. I don't know, of course, anything about attorneys back where you are, but I hope you're in good hands. At least you are taking steps to protect yourself and your rights.
Yes, sir. I'm doing all I know to do, and innocence is my weapon. It's completely fabricated, and my girls wouldn't even know what sexual abuse was. They didn't even know such a thing yet.
Mm-hmm.
I have had the facts of life talk with a couple of them, but not to that degree.
Mm-hmm.
And
are you and your wife still estranged apart?
Yeah, we're still estranged. It's mutual protective order, and we've been estranged since May the 11th.
Uh-huh.
And every time we went to court for the hearing, it's been postponed for some reason or the other. COVID, or the arresting officer had a tree cutting accident, or one time my attorney put it off because there was a substitute judge, and there's one reason after another it's been put off. And I've been homeless and innocent, and since May the 11th, simply on an accusation, and a false accusation at that. And CPS is still showing up at my court hearings for the assault charge. Mm-hmm. I don't know what role they could be playing now, because,
well, they might
as I said, on an appeal, I was overturned that decision to be unfounded.
Yeah, well,
I have requested through FOIA the information, all the interviews and everything on my case, and they will not give me the interviews with my children or my wife. And the CPS worker who did the interviewing, according to the Administrative Code and the Constitution of Virginia, was supposed to interview any minor in the house where abuse is reported. He did not interview my 10-year-old girl, but he did interview my wife, who reported it and built it from the ground up. It was, there was nothing like this never mentioned till after the trumped up assault charge. And there was a criminal investigation by the county sheriff's office. They interviewed my 3 children and called and told me, the case is dropped. There's nothing there, and we didn't have to interview anybody but your children to find out there was nothing there. The CPS guy did not interview my children, which he was bound legally to interview the minor, but instead he interviewed the one, my wife, the angered wife that called and complained.
Okay, I got it. Keep working with your attorney, keep working with your criminal attorney. Check out those avenues that I talked to you about: federal administrative complaints with the Department of Justice and the Department of Health and Human Services, Eric. And Eric, I want to thank you for calling in. Can you call us back in about 3 or 4 weeks and give us an update, see how things are moving there in Virginia? I'd really appreciate it, and I know our audience would appreciate it. Okay.
2 minutes.
I called the other number this evening, and I think one of your guys is supposed to call me back and give me a call. And I would love to get the opportunity to talk to you privately, one-on-one.
Okay.
Have more time, I could tell you a lot more things. But
okay.
Yes, I'll call back and update.
Okay, but that's just for this radio show. If you want to talk to me privately, call me at my office, 888-888-6582, and I probably can talk to you on Monday or Tuesday. Okay, Eric?
That sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling in, Eric. Hey, Michael?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been to the state of Virginia?
I've driven through it a number of times. My cousin is a retired Navy SEAL, and he lives in Virginia Beach.
Oh,
So I've been to Virginia plenty of times. It's a beautiful state.
have you ever done any Pro Hawk VJ work there in Virginia?
No, I have not. No, sir.
All right, very good. All right, we're going to take a break right now. Pay some more bills with messages. This is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win, and we'll be right back after these messages.